We're going to talk about menstrual cycles today and how we adjust our movement and honestly, maybe even like our schedules and things like that to our menstrual cycle. There's actually a lot of information kind of flying around about it right now. I think we're starting to realize how much our menstrual cycles really affect us, even if we aren't currently having our menstrual cycle. So, even if you are newly postpartum or perimenopausal or breastfeeding or whatever it may be, and you're not on your regular cycle, it's very likely you're still kind of experiencing some type of cycle throughout your month. And I know for many of us it's frustrating because one week we'll feel very energized and able to take on a lot, and then the next week will be our energy level will dip, and it will really affect our ability to do all the things that we thought we were going to do. And we tend to plan a lot, especially when it comes to our movement goals and our exercise. And it can be really, really frustrating when you have a goal in mind. And I think for a lot of us, planning out movement and exercise or even following like a prescribed program can be frustrating because it doesn't take into account the fact that our energy levels are going to dip drastically throughout the month. So I thought we could have a discussion about this. Um, and I'm going to go through each part of our menstrual cycle very quickly. And then we're going to do a workout that you can do while you're on your period. So it's going to be very low impact and very focused on reconnecting, particularly to your abdominal area and your glutes, as are the muscle groups that we tend to kind of lose contact with during our periods. Um, and so I know we've been doing a lot of lower impact workouts during these live workout sessions, but I think they're really important. And a lot of times we're not taught how to experience a strength workout at a low energy level and realize that it's still really valuable, and it's not only gives you tools to use when you're feeling low energy, but also allows you to work on those muscles that naturally work at lower levels, right? So we're doing more subtle movements, we're doing things that are stabilizing muscles, are that are good for our stabilizing muscles. So, when it comes to our menstrual cycle, we have four phases of our menstrual cycle. One of the phases, a lot of times when it comes to exercise, it gets split into two separate phases. So, we're going to start with the actual menstrual cycle or the menstrual phase, where that's usually 1 to 5 days for most people, and that's when we're bleeding. And we typically have a dip in our hormones, a dip in our energy level, and we experience things like pain and bloating and abdominal discomfort, all things that I'm experiencing today, and that it really affect my mood. I know for me personally, affect my mood and really everything that goes on during that period of time. So, with that in mind, we want to try to shift our movement more on the side of being more gentle. So stretching, gentle movements, stability work, mobility work, and low pressure strength work. So that just means like you're not trying to up your weight during that period of time. You're usually, when you're doing weightlifting or something like that, you're trying to either maintain or maybe even bring it down and increase your reps or something like that. So, really focusing on keeping it at a lower level because your energy level is low. That's probably pretty common sense to most of us, but I think for a lot of us that are, maybe a little bit of tiny overachievers inside of us, like to keep going and pushing ourselves even during that week when our energy level is naturally lower. And I'd like to think that I'm giving you permission to bring that, match your exercise and your movement to your energy level and your hormone level at that period of time. And that's ultimately going to allow you to bring it back up when you have more energy in the next phase. That next phase is your follicular phase. It's typically about a week. And that is the time when your energy level and your estrogen levels go up. And it's that time that you can add in things like new movements. You can increase your intensity. You can start to increase your weight again if you're doing weightlifting. You can add in some good creative movements, things that this is a period of time for a lot of us when our creativity levels and our ability to plan and create new things is at a high. And so using that as a guide and helping you to know, like, okay, maybe I'll plan the rest of the month during this period of time. I'm already in that state of mind, so I'm going to plan out my workouts for the rest of the month. The great thing about being part of the Misfit Collective or doing one-on-one sessions with me is that you already have programming set to go, but you can adjust if you're doing weightlifting or if you're doing the weightlifting program, or you can, maybe plan for your menstrual cycle in the future or your menstrual phase in that you're able to shift it over to the body weight exercises, knowing that your energy level is going to be low, and then slowly reintroduce weightlifting back again in your follicular phase, right? So just being creative during that time, figuring out how it's going to work best for you. Your next phase is your ovulation phase, and that's your shortest phase, usually about 3 days long. And your energy level is nice and high. Your estrogen levels are high. So it's kind of you are on the upswing with the follicular phase, and then you're at the top with your ovulation. Your communication skills and confidence levels tend to be high. That's what people tend to characterize with that ovulatory phase. And you kind of strength and power feels a little more natural during that period of time. So thinking about doing your really heavy lifting sections, for those of you who do the weightlifting program, trying to plan in that heavy week right there when you're ovulating is a great way to think about it. But knowing that you have like 3 really solid days of feeling maybe at your most confident and your strongest, and you can kind of plan around that. Then you move into your luteal phase, which is your longest phase. It's usually around 10 days long. And a lot of people split it up into early luteal and late luteal. And so this is our downswing back down to the menstrual phase. And that is when our progesterone levels increase, our energy level starts to slowly descend. And we want to focus more on the slower strength. So maybe going back to more repetitions but less weight, and focusing more on mind and body and breath and stretching and grounding exercises. So I would focus more on those kind of toward the end, right? So right before you get into your menstrual cycle, you're bringing your exercise and your movement down so that when you hit that menstrual cycle, you haven't just done heavy lifting and added to your exhaustion and your tiredness and your achiness and your cramping when you hit your period. And I know for me, like yesterday, I was like totally fine. And then I started my period last night and it was like, bam, like cramps, achiness, tiredness, irritation, like all of the things all at once. And so sometimes it's nice to be able to track and know when it's coming up, because you won't always feel that gradual entry point and you can just kind of plan out your workouts. And also knowing that you aren't necessarily losing progress by backing off a little bit, right? You are helping your body move through its natural rhythm of higher energy, lower energy, higher energy, lower energy, right? You're just listening, you're paying attention to what your body naturally does, and you're adjusting so that it works for you. Um, I liked, somebody once described this as a listening way of doing our exercise as opposed to prescribing. So rather than, like I talked about earlier, having a fitness program that you're sticking to the T, even when you're not feeling it, that can usually lead to you not wanting to do your workouts or not being able to do your workouts physically because your energy level is so low. Instead, you are paying attention, right, to what your body is feeling and you're adjusting based on that. Um, this requires you to be very aware of your body and what it's doing, And sometimes, right? Like I think everyone can relate to the fact that not all of our periods are the same. Not all of our menstrual cycles are exactly the same every month. Sometimes I go through my period and I don't have all the usual symptoms, right? And then sometimes we go through our periods and we have an extra bad one, right? And that goes for all the phases. So recognizing that every menstrual cycle is going to be different, but having a general idea of how you tend to feel in each stage. And again, those are different for everyone as well. So maybe for you, the luteal phase is pretty much like an even keel, like low energy, and you don't have that downslope, whatever it may be. Just taking a moment each month to kind of maybe jot down maybe how you're feeling, or just have a general idea and try to remember. Doesn't have to be anything too complicated, but I think it's great that we're starting to recognize how much this really does affect us and how much um, we can really just generally like listen to our bodies and adjust what we're doing based on that. Okay, with that being said, we are working out based on the idea that we are on our period, right? So today, hopefully I'll put this in the library for you guys so you always have access to this. So when you are on your period, you know that you have a workout option, right? And one that is adjusted for things like abdominal cramps, achiness, maybe back pain. Maybe you feel tense all day because you've been in pain, or you're stressed, or whatever it may be. This is the workout for that period of time, and the things you're going to need for it are a pillow and potentially, if you want, a little warmy. I have these nice little warmy pads that you can put in the microwave, and I like to, when I'm on my period and I'm super crampy, I will put that on top of my pillow so that it's nice and warm when it's up against my body. So we're going to do a few exercises with the pillow. Have that handy. I'm going to start my timer, and Cleo, go, 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 go. And we are going to start in a child's pose with a pillow. So what you're going to do, let me get this going for us. You're going to grab your pillow. You're going to sit down onto your knees. You're going to put your pillow right here on your knees. And if you have your warmie, you can put that on top of the pillow, right? So it's right where your uterus is, right? So it feels really nice. And we're going to come down into a child's pose. And I apologize for the dogs that are standing in the way. Can you scooch? You're going to come into a child's pose. We're going to start off with some really deep breaths. And we've done these before. As you take that deep breath, you're using your pillow to keep your ribs down. And you're taking a really big deep breath into your back. You're feeling the warmth on your belly. And as you breathe in, you are relaxing your pelvic floor and breathing into your back. And we're going to take one more minute to keep breathing, stretching out all along your back, all the ribs along your back. If you want, you can even be here with your forearms down if that feels better. But the main thing is we're really focusing on taking deep breaths into our back. After this, we're going to get onto our back, but we got 2 more big breaths. Relaxing that pelvic floor if you can. Good. All right, now we're going to move our pillow off to the side, and you're going to get onto your back, and we're going to do what's called a McGill crunch. So you're going to have your left knee up. Come here. Left knee up, right leg straight, right hand back behind your back in the small of your back. And then your left hand is up on your ribs. And I want you to take a deep breath in and relax. And then as you exhale, you're going to brace your belly button towards your spine very gently. blink, and rock it. And as you rock it, I want you to imagine you're lifting your face up to the ceiling very subtly, and you're using that rocket to help you extend your spine. Cleo, go away, go away, go away. So you're inhaling, relaxing. So it's almost a crunch, but you're more extending rather than crunching. Okay, so nice big inhale, exhale, belly button to spine, blink, rock it. And you can see I just mainly extend my spine, really stretch it like a slinky. Good. Okay, let's switch legs. So right leg is bent, left leg is straight. Switch hands. So left hand is back behind the small of the back. You're going to take a deep breath in, relax the belly. Exhale, gentle pull of the belly button toward your spine, blink, rock it. And even if your head doesn't come off the ground, just thinking about your spine is a slinky and you're stretching it gently in order to extend along the ground. And then you inhale, relax, and do it again. Exhale, brace, blink, rock it, extend, 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 extend. One more. Inhale, relax. Exhale, brace, blink, rock it, extend, extend, extend. Good. All right, now you're going to roll over onto your side, come up into an all fours position. Your hands are going to be on the ground and your right leg is going to be out straight. And we are going to be rocking forward and back. And you should feel a really nice stretch all along the inside of your leg. Inhale. As you feel the stretch, see if you can relax your pelvic floor. Rocking forward and back as that right leg is straight out to the side. Getting a really nice stretch on the inside of your leg. And we're going to switch in just a second here. Good. Go ahead and switch. So now right knee is on the ground, left leg is out straight. Inhale. I know for me, even just the act of rocking back and forth is really calming, really good for my nervous system. We're going to go into a V plank to plank after this, but we have 22 seconds to continue stretching here. Big deep breaths. Good. If you want to slow it down, you can. Good. Now we're going to come up into a V plank. And I know this is one of those that's a little more challenging, but you're going to keep those knees bent, push away from the mat. So you're almost like a ramp here. And your butt is up in the air. And you're going to exhale, gently pull your belly button toward your spine, blink and rock it. And you're going to use that rocket to come into a plank. And your hips are really nice and high here, okay? No crazy low planks. Nice and easy. Inhale, butt up toward the ceiling. Really connect with your belly button as it pulls toward your spine. Blink, rock it, extend the spine, extend the back of your neck as you come into that plank. And then inhale, relax the belly, relax the pelvic floor as you push back into that V plank. Exhale, brace, blink, rock it, extend, extend, extend. And come back into that V plank. Good. All right. Next, come on into a side, onto your side. Grab your pillow, put it between your knees, like a clamshell position here. All right. This is kind of a new one and kind of an interesting one. We're going to take an extra minute here. You're going to come up. What you'll be doing is you're going to come up onto your arm like a side plank And then you're going to push your hips forward so you're nice and straight. And then you're going to come back down, right? And you're going to bend. And then you're going to extend. And then you're going to bend. And what I want you to do is squeeze that pillow together gently, or squeeze your knees together around that pillow. So you're going to extend and then inhale, come back down. Exhale, squeeze the knees together. Don't worry, we're going to keep going through this beep. Inhale, down, relax. Exhale, as you come up, your hips are pushing forward, so you're nice and long and straight. And then you're going to inhale, come back down. If you need a little rest here, you can. Exhale, pull up out of your shoulder so you're not collapsing into your shoulder. Little squeeze of the knees here. Exhale. As you push those hips forward, you're squeezing your knees together. Inhale down. I know there's a lot to this one. This one, we're helping our inner leg muscles. We're being very gentle. And we're also kind of adjusting the alignment of our pelvis, especially along the tailbone area. Good. All right, we're going to switch sides. So get into position on the other side. Elbow down. Make sure your shoulder is over your elbow. Pillows between the knees. Exhale. Little bit of a brace. Keep those hips facing forward. Squeeze the knees together as you straighten the hips. And then inhale, come down and bend. Exhale, squeeze the knees together. Inhale, come down and bend. Exhale, squeeze the knees together. Extend the hips. Inhale, bend the hips. You might feel a little bit of movement in your pelvis here. Sometimes for me, that feels like a little teeny pop in my like vagina area. So know that if you're feeling that, as long as it's not like a super sharp pain that continues on, you're good. That's just your pelvis moving. Good. All right, next, I'm going to put the pillow down on the ground. I'm putting one knee on the pillow. The other leg is up, knee up, and we are doing a hip flexor stretch, kneeling. If this is not good for your knees, you are standing and doing a standing hip flexor stretch. You don't hit the tripod, okay? Pay attention to where you're going. Oh, okay. So you're either here, down on your knees, whatever feels good for you. It's all the same. A little tuck of the tail here. So squeeze those glutes together just a little bit to get more of an opening in the hip. Deep breath in, relax the pelvic floor. We're going to go through the beep here just a tiny bit. Good. All right, let's switch. One knee down, other knee up. Reaching the arm of the knee that is down up to the sky. If you want, you could do a little lean, but you should be feeling it predominantly in that front of the hip here. Opening up our hips, giving ourselves some space in this area that's probably a little tight, a little unhappy at the moment. We're going to do dead bugs next. So you can use your pillow or a squishy surface for just under your tailbone for that one. We're going to take one more deep breath in. Good. Come on down onto your side and then roll onto your back. You're on your side, rolling onto your back. I'm going to have my pillow under my tailbone. That's a little bit unhappy at the moment. Straight arms, bent legs. Inhale, relax. Exhale, belly button to spine. Blink, rock it or zip up those jeans and extend. Opposite arm, opposite leg. Inhale, bring it back. Exhale, brace, blink, rock it, extend. Oh yeah, my pelvis feels super unstable today. Exhale, brace, blink, rock it. It's really amazing how much our bodies change throughout our cycle. Exhale, brace, blink, rock it, extend. And we need to give our bodies credit for all that they go through. Last one, exhale, brace, blink, rock it, extend. Good. Okay, now roll over onto your side. We're going into all fours and we're going to do a really nice cat cow. Inhale as you cow. Exhale as you cat. Maybe add a little bit of a tail wag or some really big hip circles here. And we're going to end with our child's pose in just a second. Get a nice stretch along the front line of that body. Good. And push away from the mat on your cat. Really arch that spine. Good. All right. I'm going to grab my warmie and I'm putting it on top of my pillow. And then I'm putting my pillow in between my belly and my legs. And I'm getting into that child's pose. And when I take that deep breath in and breathe into my back, I'm going to really focus on relaxing that perineum. This might be an interesting experience for you around your period in particular. For some of us, relaxing that area of our body while we're bleeding or feeling discomfort in that area can be really difficult. So be patient. Recognize that your body is feeling very different right now, but it's doing what it does to keep you alive, to keep you moving, and doing all the things you do, which are many. Last big deep breath. Fill yourself up with air. Breathe into the back of your body and exhale. Good. Good. If you are doing this while you're on your period and you're feeling extra low or you're feeling extra sore, I want you to remember that this period of time for most of us is only about 5 days long. And then we move into our follicular phase, right? And our ovulation phase, which our energy level will lift and we will feel better. Okay. And you have tools to help you through all of that. So be sure to reach out to me if you have any questions, drink your water, and I'll see you in the next workout.